third grade. This chapter or lesson, you've learned all about the different physical features in our country. Today, in our Reading Further section, we're going to go through telling stories with maps. Your community may be near a lake or a desert. Our community of Milwaukee is near one of those. Are we near a lake or are we near a desert? Oh, well, you can see right here, Wisconsin's right here. Yeah, we're right by Lake Michigan. The land in and around your community may be flat or hilly. You might have natural resources nearby, such as trees or fish. Maps can show all these things, but how do maps get made? Right, so today we're talking about maps and how do we make those maps? My name is Belinda, and I tell stories about places. Because I'm a cartographer, I use maps instead of words. Cartographer is a fancy name for a person who makes maps. I can tell many stories with my maps. How do I decide what story to tell? The answer depends on two things: the purpose of the map and who is going to be reading it. You can see here this caption. Cartographers make all different kinds of maps. A digital map can be viewed on an electronic device. Maybe you've seen that if you've ever seen your parents use Google Maps like this on their phone, right? I use Google Maps on my phone all the time. If I need to, say I need to figure out how am I going to get from my house to Garden Homes Lutheran. Well, I know how to get there now, so I don't have to use this map, but I can look that up and I can find the directions, and that's going to tell me how I need to get there. It'll tell me that it needs to take me 11 minutes. Let's say instead I want to go to Six Flags. I have some different options. Here's the one in Illinois. Here's the one in New Jersey. Here's the one in St. Louis. Well, I want to go to the one in Illinois. It's going to tell me that it's going to take me 49 minutes, and it's going to show me how I get there from my house, right? Maybe you've seen your family use something like that on their phone when they're going somewhere that they maybe haven't been there before or haven't been in a long time, and they don't remember. The Great Lakes region. Let's say that the map's purpose is to show the main physical features of the Great Lakes region of the United States. Students like you will study the maps to learn about these features. So look, we can know that it's about the Great Lakes region because of the title. Here we have our map scale and our compass to show us how this is situated. Okay, so it can tell us major things like the black lines are the outlines of where the states are. This blue line here is the Mississippi River. And then we have all sorts of different areas like what does this dark green spot up here mean? What does all this brown over here mean? We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out by somewhere like a key normally. As a cartographer, my job is to create a map that shows you these things. I need to show features like rivers, lakes, and mountains. But on this map, I won't show lots of other things like roads and cities. That would be important on a different kind of map, but not this one. On this map, I just want people to look at the physical features, right? There's no dot. Milwaukee's right about here. Milwaukee's right about here on this map, right? But it doesn't show you that. It doesn't show any cities here. It shows more of just the physical features. My first step is making sure I have gathered all the necessary information. I have to be sure that I include important features on my map and put them in the correct locations. This is a photo of the Great Lakes region. Okay, so here you can see there's no state lines, right? Because those exist on maps. Those don't exist, like you wouldn't walk and say, oh, look, I look down on the ground and there's the black line where the state is. No, those are just on maps. So here, this one is Lake Michigan, so Milwaukee, we're like kind of right about here. But you can't see that. Now notice this line here kind of looks like the shape of Wisconsin. That's because this boundary of Wisconsin is the Mississippi River. So this right here is that river and can help show you kind of where that boundary of Wisconsin is. How I gather information. Where do I get my information? I read books and also study other maps. Sometimes I use aerial photographs, which are photos taken from a plane. I can put several of these photographs together to see a large area. I can also look at photographs taken from space. Space shuttles and satellites, a spacecraft that goes around Earth, carry the cameras into space so they can be used. Photographs taken from space are very useful for showing Earth's physical features. Next, I have to choose the type of map to draw on. Such a map is called a base map. This time, I will use a base map to show the outline of the entire United States. The base map will also show state borders. These lines will help you see where different features are. How I put information on a map. The mainland of the United States is about 3,000 miles wide. I have to show that huge area in a space that will fit in a book, while also squeezing in Alaska and Hawaii. So I need to figure out how many miles each inch of my map will stand for. Then I draw a scale on the map, which helps measure distances between places. I also draw a compass rose so you can tell directions. Next, I select colors for the map, choosing ones that help you see things quickly and easily. For instance, I might use shades of green for most land areas, but I might use brown for mountains and other high places. The physical features of the United States are shown on this map. All right, so the green is kind of where it's just lower, and then as you start getting in the mountains, that brown means it's a higher region. There's these mountains. Well, the Rocky Mountains here are really, really tall mountains. The Appalachian Mountains aren't quite as tall, so notice there's some brown, and there's some of that darker green. So that darker green means we're getting into higher elevation, where there's more like hills and stuff. So you can see up here by the top of Wisconsin, that's a lot of hills up there. What do you think this light brown stands for? Well, that's probably the desert, right? If you think about it, we know the deserts are kind of in the southwest region of the United States, so the desert kind of is in these regions here. Now, here is where she put Alaska and Hawaii. If she had put Hawaii actually on this map, it would be way far down out this way. All right, and Alaska would be way far up this way. It wouldn't even be on the page because Alaska and Hawaii are both very, very, very far from what we call the continuous United States, which is these 48 states here. Physical features map with grid. Look, there's a grid here that's over this. We've got letters at the top and the bottom and numbers down both of the sides. How I help you locate features. As a cartographer, I want you to be able to tell the location of places on the map. One way to do this is to draw a grid on the map. A grid is made up of squares and columns and rows, like the squares in a game of tic-tac-toe. I give each column a letter and each row a number so we can name every square on the grid. For example, find the column labeled D in the grid to the left. Then move a finger straight down this column to the second row. You will find the square D2. So D1, D2. See, because it's with D here and 2 here. So D2. Kind of like when we use our multiplication chart. We can use grids like this one to say exactly where a place is. In which square can you find Lake Erie? Let's look here, Lake Erie. Lake Erie, these looks like some lakes, Lake Erie right here. Okay, so it's in this square. So E2, all right, so it's in the square E2. How I make a special purpose map. Sometimes maps tell a story about a single topic. This kind of map is called a special purpose map. In the Northwest, fish called salmon are an important resource. Many people make a living by catching and selling salmon, but in some places, salmon are dying out. Maps can help us keep track of the salmon so we can protect this resource. I can make a special purpose map to show where the salmon are. First, I gather facts about which lakes and streams have salmon. Then, I use symbols to show this information on the map. I put a key or legend on the map to tell what the symbols mean. I love telling stories with maps because I know that my maps help people learn more about their world. So a special purpose map, that's a map that shows information about a single topic. And then here's one of those examples of a special purpose map. This map is lakes and streams with salmon. So if it's got the dots in it, it means it's lakes with salmon. If it's got red, it means streams of salmon. So any of these streams down here, no salmon. Don't go fishing there. Right? Go in the lakes, go in the streams with the red on them. All right? Excellent. That's where we're going to stop for today. Tomorrow, you're going to think about what are the physical features of our community of Milwaukee and how do we adapt to where we live.